Hi YouTube, welcome to Market Watch. It's your bi-weekly segment to talk about Digimon card game market, and we are in the new year, 2023, with no North American events until Nationals as of right now, leaving the market a little bit of an unpredictable place. Things are pretty stagnant. Hype depends on what the card is released. You know what I mean? So definitely things are pretty flexible right now, or there's just gonna be a lot of stale activity. And that's okay, not a big deal. So we're gonna talk about some things you might want to consider looking at for the future, because making money is important, and also being able to save money so you don't have to like spend it way more than you need to when the cards come out. Actually, kind of important to have. I think that knowledge is good. So you guys like this content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn notification about the smashed potatoes. That way you know when all these amazing digital videos go live. Couple real quick things before we start. First of all, here in 2022 December, 44% of my viewers not subscribed. So if you're one of those 44% people that come back twice a week to watch my market watches, do me a favor and actually click that subscribe button, because it helps me a lot. And the other thing I want to show off real quick is for those of you that are maybe not as observant, I am in a completely different area, and it's fuzzy. It's a little fuzzy. Fuzzy Mario. But anyway, as you can see here, it's blank. Nothing's here. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of muddled audio, maybe a little bit. I'm curious to see how this sounds, but if you guys have any ideas for the background, let me know, because I have some ideas. But, I want to hear what you guys want to see too. So let's go ahead and get started here with the Omnimons. And the Omnimons here, really not much activity changing. This one, Omnion X up a little bit. Zort Defeat Alt Arts up a little bit. Besides that, nothing really too crazy going on. That's not what we don't see every week, so not a big deal. I think we can move on to other things like Death Xmon at a low of $85. This one's kind of a good deal, and then it goes to 88, and then it goes to 90. So if you want an Alt Art Death Xmon, because this card ain't going anywhere anytime soon, I'd probably pick it up at 85. You guys can see that it is kind of selling, right? So maybe it's a good time to grab that card. Maybe it is. Who knows? Regular Death Xmon still hovering around the $59 to $60 mark. Nothing too crazy there. That's what it is. Xmon, though, was back up in price. Actually back up in price. All the cheap listings were bought. All of these, kind of cheap ones here, all gone. Now we're back to expensive ones, kind of expensive ones, where the alt art is only like $2 more than this one, I think. And with only 32 listings, I mean, that's a lot of listings. It's going to take a while to buy out this card, if you want my opinion. So until people like drop more of these on the market, I don't really see anything happening crazy with the price. So it's up to you if you want to spend 37 bucks on an Xmon. Completely your prerogative. Talking about our other secret rare here from EX3 is Fighter Mode Imperial, my bad, at 30 bucks. Again, the alt art is only $2 more expensive, and it just keeps hovering. People are actually spending money on it too, and there's only 15 listings left. There's less of these around than Eximons, which is super interesting to me, but that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. This card just has to not see meta play basically for it to drop in price. Because things are so stagnant right now, I don't see it dropping too much. But I wouldn't spend 30 on these fire mods. I've considered selling mine because this is crazy. It's holding its own value. I know it's going to go back down eventually. It seems like a good deal. If you have some, you should sell them. If you don't, I'd probably stay away from it for now. Here we have Agumon, Event Pack 2. I'll talk about this card once in a while because there's 8 left on TCG Player and it's gone. Someone with a moderately sized wallet can just buy these and then detect the market. So be very, very cautious with this card. I think 30 is a good price for it. If you can get it for 30 for light plays, whatever. 40 for near man. Icky, gross. Alphamon or Yukon has shot up, exploded, had quite an intense peak here. As you can see, it went crazy the last few days. Nuts. Yeah, that's what'll happen, I guess, eh? I don't know why. I'm not too sure. Regardless, it's back down to some calmer prices. I would probably wait for it to calm down even more, because like this won't see a whole lot of meta play until maybe BT13 with Royal Knight support. Could be wrong. The odd person here and there, as we've seen, can take this deck and still do well with it. So maybe that'll be enough to keep the price kind of at this range. But I'd try to wait for it to go down in price if you didn't have them already. Like, you guys had a really good opportunity to grab these at 15. Like, you know what I mean? They've been cheaper before. Andrew 1X Antibody. I've talked about this card before. I'm playing with this card more and more in testing. It's like Jet Sylphimon, kind of. Like, if you have Godomon, and you have the Anduomon that evolves for 1, and this that evolves for free, it is basically just Sylphimon. It just takes one more memory for the Godomon, and one more additional level 5. Like, yeah, it's obviously worse than Jet Sylphimon, but it's a good card. And it does a little bit more because it has a security -1 thing as well. And it's obviously capped at 5 security where Jet Sylphy was not. I'm a big fan of this card though. I'm testing it more and more going into BT11. I'm liking it more and more. I think in EX3 right now this card is phenomenal. Is that enough to move the price on this card? I don't know. I have no idea. But I think 18 is a good price. It might even dip down a little bit lower than 18. So just, keep that in mind. Here we have Upamon, kind of down low at, not that one, $8.17. Not bad. It does seem to be falling, so wait to see where it falls if you want to get this card. Diaboromon here, actually a good price for $14-15 here. That's a good deal. Yes, this 777 gaming, not a lot of sales. I know people like to talk about that, but it's okay. Like, it's at a low right now. I'd grab this card, in my opinion. I'd grab it up. Now I want to talk about the future. I want to spend the rest of this market watch talking about the actual future, and not necessarily BT11, because most market watches were talking about BT11, but BT12, EX4, and beyond here. There are some things that have happened, things that have just incrementally happened, and other cards that aren't really on the radar yet, that I think people should be aware of going into BT12 and EX4, because they are seeing play in Japan, which means they'll probably see play here. Starting with our red hybrid love, our Burning Greymon, what a beast. Our Aldemon, what an absolute straight G. And Takuya, just slow climb. I think with your 2 pre-release cards here, I know we talked about this before. I can't remember if Life and if clear on Market Watch, but I've definitely talked about it on the stream how these pre-release stamped cards, like, guys, you're never going to hear the words come out of my mouth that red hybrid is bad. You'll never hear those words. Like, these cards are insane. And this card in particular, being Delicate Plan, it's kind of good. Aldemon's actually one of your only other cards that can actually deal with things like Magna X, because it can attack for 12,000 and not eat up your Ancient Greymon swing or whatever. But we're talking about Emperor Greymon here, I've only seen a handful of Ancient Grey lists, in BT12 in Japan. Most of them are Emperor Grey, whatever. Anyway, these 2 cards are really good, but I'd wait for the hype to cool off, because there's just none left. There's just none left. People have bought, which is nice. People have been buying, which is good. And if you look at Aldemon here, again, people have been buying. But now it's too late. Now you gotta wait if you didn't have them already. Takuya here keeps getting, attacked a little bit, keeps getting bought. Not to the same ferocity, but it makes me wonder that, I did release an Ancient Grey deck profile that coincides with these dates. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out that this might have been a Mario oopsies. But regardless, these are cards you need for, EBT12 potentially. Maybe not Aldemon so much, Burning Grey and definitely Takuya. Takuya is good now. It's still going up, but like it's not going to be going down anytime soon, I think. And wait for the pre-release stamp cards. Impmon here. This is my placeholder for Beelzemon support. Because Alt-Art Beelzemon stuff, with the exception of like I and Mako, is kind of pricey. If it's going to see a lot of play in BT12 and beyond, Beelzemon X Antibody is kind of busted. So I think that a smart person, that while these listings exist here, this cheap $50 modern to play listing, maybe they can wheel and deal a little bit. But beyond that, 60 and 65. This is one of those cards that doesn't have a lot of supply to back it, so it is kind of expensive. And not all Japanese Beelzebub lists actually play this card, but it's a good card to have. And technically, people consider this max rarity over the event pack too. I think it's event pack too. So keep that in mind as we move forward here. Marcus is another card. ShineGreymon Marcus Punch Dot deck. You guys know the one, right? This card has just always gone up. It used to be $2, and now it's way more than that. I'd wait and see what happens with this card, to be honest. Unless I thought that this card was going to get a little bit worse when ShineGreymon Ruin Mode was announced. That secret rare in AX4. That card's nuts. That card's really good. But luckily, no. Not much of an impact there, so maybe just wait and see what happens with it. ShineGreymon X, though. This is a card I think is seriously underpriced. It's really good when Digivolve and play a Tamer. So even if you hard Digivolve for 4, you get a Tamer. Like, that's still fine. It's your turn effect to gain BP is still fine. And if you have ShineGreymon underneath it, then you're doing really good. I think this card is seeing play in the ShineGreymon BT12 stuff, and I don't see this card like getting like bad. And there's only a few cheap listings before it's $10. So maybe grab it while you can. WarGreymon X Antibody. This is the top end to the BT12 WarGreymon deck. People are kind of dipping back a little bit on the BT1 WarGreymon Delicate Plan in favor of the new WarGreymon. So this is just your natural top end until you Omnimon it up. This card could see an increase in price. There's only 19 listings left. It's not a lot, guys. If you think about it, it's not a lot. Agumon X is seeing play all over the place. BT11, BT12, whatever. EX4. Like, there's not a lot of these cards left on the market. There's 20, which is good for now. It might has a little bit of resistance, but I don't think it'll last forever, not my opinion. Unless more people just dump these on the market, then it will. Nokia, though. Nokia is seeing a lot of play in the Omnimon Alter deck in EX4 because it plays with both Goblimon and Agumon cards. Decks that have done well in Japan have played this card in multiples. So Alter Nokia could be seeing a resurgence at some point in the future, and maybe you want to grab these before it gets crazy. Leave a little bit of an uptick, there. Blazing Memory Boost. The best memory boost in the game, locked to Blue Flare. But thanks to the whole Blue Flare Dark Knight mishmash support in EX4, that deck is doing well in Japan right now, and it's playing. Most decks are playing this card as a 4-of, because why wouldn't you? Card's crazy. Yeah, it feels kind of bad if you like hit a bunch of Dark Knights, but you know, whatever. Still memory boost at the end of the day. Still good. This is the highest rarity of it, and you might want to grab it if you like Blue Flare. Last card today is Analog Youth. EX4 decks and BT12 decks are also playing this card a little more than I'd say BT10 and EX3 were, by a lot. This card is really good. I can't recall for life of me if it's been slated for reprint in the reprint set or not. But regardless, this is still the alternate art. It's still probably the version that'll be most expensive. And it's kind of lower than it has been for a little while. Like $57, $58 is not bad. Maybe you grab a few now and call it a day. That's it for Market Watch, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful start to 2023, and enjoy yourselves.